right, joining me on the show today, Tanmay Sharma of the BJP, advocate APS Khadial from the Congress Party, and Renu Mittal, senior journalist. Good evening and welcome to all of you on Mirror Now. I'd like to start with you, Tanmay Sharma ji. Another state, another surprise that the BJP has sprung on all of us. And to be honest with you, all of us in the media were quite taken aback when we heard Bhajanlal Sharma's name being announced as the Chief Minister of Rajasthan. Help us understand the reasoning behind the choosing of Bhajanlal Sharma by the party.
See, since you know the anatomy of the party, BJP has a very different anatomy from, if you compare with other parties. Here, every worker, the smallest level of worker, always has a possibility, always has a way, always has a guideline that he could come or she could come and become the topmost one. So this is what is the example which has been laid by our respected Prime Minister, Shri Narendra Modi ji, that how a hardworking candidate, how a hardworking person for the party, working dedicatedly, devotedly for the party, can reach the zenith of every aspect. This is the real example and a real great thing for every Karyakarta working for the party, that there is a possibility for everybody to come up.
Okay. APS Khadial, what do you make of this announcement today as the opposition party in Rajasthan? Are you now ready to be a constructive opposition to Bhajanlal Sharma's government?
See, some leaders of the Bharatiya Janata Party, Shreya, are saying that there should be no more than 2 terms for the chief minister, because otherwise it brings in entitlement, you become bigger than the party, etc., etc. Now, my question to the Bharatiya Janata Party is, if this is your logic that nobody should feel entitled or bigger than the party, then why does this logic not apply to the Prime Minister? Mr. Modi should say that in 2024, I'm not going to be the PM face, and therefore I agree with the logic some of the BJP leaders have been giving. Number 2, as far as the change of team goes, you see, these leaders were chosen by Mr. Vajpayee. Now the choice of CMs have changed because the Bharatiya Janata Party wants them to have allegiance to certain other individuals. Earlier it was Mr. Vajpayee. Now it's everybody knows which leaders they want their allegiance to be directed towards and loyalty towards. And number 3, I really want to know the reason as to why Ms. Vasundhara Raje has not been picked for the CM. Was it the resort politics that came in between? Because as ANI reported, 5 MLAs of the Bharatiya Janata Party went to Apno Rajasthan resort. Vasundhara Raje's son was also there. And when a former state vice president had gone there to pick up his son, to collect his son, he was told to seek permission of that gentleman, and this came out. And Ms. Raje also sought time from Mr. Modi for a meeting. She came to Delhi, if I'm not wrong. So why could that meeting not happen with the very person who helped you in a victory in Rajasthan? And also, the Bharatiya Janata Party is saying this is the people's decision. People have never been involved in your decision making. They aren't involved today and they will not be involved tomorrow. We know the function of the Bharatiya Janata Party. The decision never comes from the people or from within the party. It comes from top of the party. And number 2, I think it's become crystal clear, Shreya, that the Bharatiya Janata Party is full of infighting right now. There is confusion, there is indecision. And I'll give you an example for that as well. It's been around 7 days since these elections concluded. And for example, take an example of Telangana. The oath-taking ceremony happened, swearing-in happened, the CM was decided, everything was done and dusted. It's been days. And the Bharatiya Janata Party's CMs have been decided just now and just yesterday. I mean, the Bharatiya Janata Party is having a hard time controlling these leaders because 10 to 12 MPs of the Bharatiya Janata Party had to resign to become MLAs. Now, they were also in the CM. Then there were other leaders who wanted to be CM. So everybody wanted to be CM and the Bharatiya Janata Party had to do something about that. And therefore, this decision has come. And number 2, okay, I would want to know that this...
Let me get Tanmay Sharma to respond to it.
All right.
I'm quite surprised why the Congress has so much trouble
to respond with
the Congress party has had a very, very troublesome time while the Prime Minister is there in the office, and they always have a trouble with the Prime Minister because they don't have no one to defend and replace from their side. Obviously, they don't have a face as a Prime Minister candidate. So they keep trying to put their fingers towards Shri Narendra Modi ji that, oh, he should go and then we'll have a time, at least someone out of our lot would be there. Anyways, let's forget it. That's their problem. They'll have to sort out who's their face. We talk about our party. The thing is, what I told in the beginning is we are a democratic party. And see, we know the system that works in the party. We have been taught that way. We are absolutely away from what you call Parivarvad. We don't favor anyone. BJP has never favored. If you talk, he was like trying to claim that ex-chief minister's son had some resort politics. This is all created by the media and the things. It has not happened. There was nothing of such kind. Absolutely no. There was nothing. And talking about all the leaders who went to Delhi to meet, she's a national vice president of the party. She has all the rights to go further and meet the higher authorities, the top people, and obviously decide about the state's future. The future that we are looking for Rajasthan is a developed Rajasthan, not like Rajasthan which has been under corruption, under paper leaks, under various problems which the Congress has really given to this particular state. 70 lakh youth have had a very bad, a terrible future they have had during the Congress time, which they are not able to accept. The major problem with Congress is the atrocities, I would call them atrocities, that they have put on the people, particularly of Rajasthan. I mean, it's been really terrible if you look around here. Crime against women, crime against children.
Okay. Let me get in Renu Mittal on this. All right. Renu Mittal, how do you see these announcements that have been made by the BJP, not just today, but the last few days, where they've announced their chief ministers in Chhattisgarh, in Rajasthan, and in Madhya Pradesh. Rajasthan, of course, was another big surprise, also very strategically played by the BJP. There is a tribal face in Chhattisgarh. Now we have Bhajanlal Sharma, the Brahmin face. So you've got all the communities being catered to very strategically, not just after the state assembly election results, but also ahead of the 2024 general election.
I think that what the Prime Minister and Mr. Amit Shah have done, that very cleverly and strategically, they have got these names. They have got people representing various castes and communities. You know, in Chhattisgarh, the maximum number of seats came from the tribal belt. So they had a tribal there, which is, I think, as it should be. And of course, a backward has been replaced by a backward, which is, in Madhya Pradesh terms, it's a good decision. And because there was no upper caste, there could have been murmurings within the party on that. So they brought in Mr. Sharma here, upper caste, and they've balanced him with a Rajput and a Dalit. So what they've done is that they have actually looked at caste, communities, and you know, people. I mean, if in the Prime Minister's book, I think faces and names and these guys don't matter, because ultimately the message is that I am going to bring a victory to you. I am going to be the face of this election that is going to come, as I was of the assembly elections, and I am going to return you to power. So it doesn't matter who is the chief minister. Another interesting that has happened is that he has got rid of the old guard, who could have been a threat in the sense that they would have aspirations, which is nothing wrong with that. But you know, it's Prime Minister Modi certainly doesn't want a whole lot of these guys vying to be prime minister or in big positions. So he needed to get rid of them. And I don't agree with any of these people
Renu, you have to credit the BJP for not having internal dissent. The kind of internal dissent that we see within the Congress party, that is not out in the public, at least. They've held on to their senior leaders and the new generation very carefully. And this transition of power that you see in all these states is also happening very smoothly, whether it was Shivraj Singh Chauhan to Manoj Yadav or Vasundhara Raje to Bhajanlal Sharma.
I think that there has been a great deal of heartburn. Obviously, there must have been, because MPs and ministers were taken out from their comfort zone and they were sent to the assemblies, and they've really got nothing out of it. They're not even going to get Lok Sabha tickets. So they have to be content with that. But another big message is that there is discipline in the BJP. There are no murmurings, at least not that we've heard. And you know, there is no indiscipline, as is the kind. You see, in Congress, we had these big leaders like Ashok Gehlot and Kamal Nath, and even Bhupesh Baghel was becoming one, who ran the states like their fiefdoms and did not listen to the central leadership, which I think for the Congress has been a big dampener, because this has lost them the election. Gehlot didn't listen at all, and neither did Kamal Nath. So you know, these are things that are not happening in the BJP, because of which they have come back to power. They have captured the Hindi heartland, which I think is a huge message for the 2024 elections, because nobody is now talking about less than 300 and 350 seats. Whether it happens or not, we don't know. But that's what the mood and the perception is right now. So what we are looking at is a party which can name anybody, even a man who's just become an MLA for the first time. So he has no experience of governance. He may have had experience of the organization, but now he's going to run the government. And the two deputies also certainly don't have any experience. So what we have is that either there will be an invisible hand which will guide him, or bureaucrats will run the show like they did with Ashok Gehlot. It's not going to be an easy thing for him to do. But certainly all of three of them that have been chosen have come from the RSS background. RSS has been not too happy with the Prime Minister. So the Prime Minister, I think, is given in to their wishes that, okay, let the RSS have its way, because ultimately I'm the boss. I'm going to be running the affairs of the party and the government, and I'm going to be bringing victory. So I remain the supreme leader. I think that that's the kind of messaging that has been going on. And I think that this surprise is like a hallmark of Narendra Modi, from various actions and activities that he undertakes. Surprise, I think he loves surprises. So this was certainly a surprise. I certainly would not have zeroed in on Sharma, who is actually from Bharatpur, but was not given a ticket, and then he had to contest from Sanganer in Jaipur. So, and he won from there. Well, and now he's suddenly become the chief minister. So I think that it's a very calculated kind of a thing. He's supposed to be close to Mr. Amit Shah, is what I've heard, and he's the person who let's see what all he can do in terms of governance, which really would be the big test. And like there was a paper leak during the Congress government, certainly there were no leaks here, and it was a smooth, leakless transition, and surprises also at the end of the day.
Okay. APS Khadial, three lessons for the Congress party perhaps from the BJP. One, trust your ground worker. Two, trust in new leaders, in younger leaders as well. And three, not having this internal dissent spirit in the public and resolve them amicably so that there is smooth transition of power.
See, as far as the first point goes, ground worker should be rewarded and trusted. How many ground workers did they involve? Zero. How many people, like the Bharatiya Janata Party spokesperson was saying, were involved in the process of deciding who the CM is going to be? Zero. And if I'm wrong, the gentleman from the BJP could tell us what was the process, what was the procedure through which you invited and included the people to tell you who the CM face is going to be, and how was it not your high command? How was it not Mr. Modi, Mr. Shah, etc.? Number two, as far as his dig on Congress goes, I want to tell him one thing. Please acquaint yourself with some facts. All these 4 states that went to, of which the results were announced on the same day, the Congress has gotten 10 lakh more votes than the Bharatiya Janata Party in these 4 states. Number two, you shouldn't think that this hat-trick would turn into a 2024 hat-trick in the Lok Sabha elections, because you've been proven wrong twice by history. This happened 20 years ago to Congress. We lost Rajasthan, Chhattisgarh and MP, and despite that, in the Lok Sabha elections, we bounced back and we emerged as the single largest party. You proved this trend to be wrong in 2019. And if there's been twice, if there's been 2 instances before, why wouldn't there be a third one? Number 3, as far as the gentleman saying goes, oh, the resort politics never really took place. I think he's taking the people for a ride, because PTI, Press Trust of India, and ANI, they have both reported it. It's on record, not just them. Almost every channel has reported it. So has there been any suit filed against them? The answer to that is no. Number 3, as far as the disappointment goes and concerns, I think the people who are the most disappointed are the BJP workers and leaders, because they have not been included in the process. They have not been asked anything. They have only been given a decision that's come from the top, rather imposed from the top. And number 4, the workers. The gentleman was saying that the workers, worked really hard. If they did work really hard, you should have let them decide. There should have been a poll or something in your party. Now, the reason as to why I'm saying this is because you say that the workers were involved, that the leaders were involved, everything was happening. Don't just say it. Make sure it can be seen in the action. And most important point of all, he said that there's no face like Mr. Modi. There's nobody. First, two things to that. One, if you attribute these 3 wins to Mr. Modi, then you should attribute him the loss in Telangana as well. Number 2, as far as the face goes, the Congress party has more than a dozen leaders who are more capable, who have a better vision for the people of India and for the country than Mr. Modi does. And number 3, the Bharatiya Janata Party forgets we do not happen to be living in a parliamentary form. We do not happen to be living in a presidential form of government. We live in a parliamentary form of government. And if you do not know what that is, ask your leaders to read what that is. And last thing, he said, Parivarvad se hum bahut dur hai. Then who's Mr. Jesha, Amit Shah Saab's son? Who's Jyotiraditya Sindhya Saab, who's in your party? Nirmala Sitharaman ji, Piyush Goyal ji, Anurag Thakur Saab, and many more leaders. So at least give up your double standards.
Let me get Tanmay to respond.
Okay, wonderful.
Tanmay, a number of allegations that the Congress party is making against... Yeah, go ahead.
I'm just wondering, why they have their eyes covered all the time and they don't see the fact of their party. They have not yet been able to come out of the Gandhi clan. They're still following the same clan every year for so many decades. They're still following the same thing. Do they not have great leaders? He just said they've got 10, 15 great leaders. Can you name me one who's capable to run this country, firstly? No, nowhere. See, gentlemen, to taste this kind of a success, you really need to talk to yourself that whether you're working with the right party, which is right for the government, right for the country, and running the government for the benefit of the people living in here. So you'll have to talk to yourself whether you are at the right place, because I don't see Congress existing anywhere for the future because the way they've worked. Can you tell me about Telangana? How did you make the CM there? You just got one state there. Come on. We got 3 states all together with proper majority. We didn't have to go around anywhere. And for the Lok Sabha, for 2024, I can tell you that we're going to get the highest numbers this time. Highest numbers. And please, don't sell this pyar ki dukaan because you've been selling the hatred hatred thing everywhere in the country. And I think the biggest disappointment is, you just can't eliminate the people who are sitting there and who don't want to leave their seats. They just play musical chair amongst each other. So Congress has got no constitution within itself to run their party. How do they think they'll be able to run the government? How do they think they'll be able to run the country? So first, look at yourself. What are you doing for the country? And BJP, if you talk about, I'm telling you, even the Pradhan Mantri himself says that I'm a Karyakarta of the party. This is the spirit of every BJP leader, every BJP worker in the country. We work as a Karyakarta. We don't say that I am this and I am that. Have you ever seen the pictures of ex-Prime Minister Mr. Manmohan Singh standing and waiting for Mrs. Sonia Gandhi to come over and speak to her? This looks ridiculous. The respect that the Prime Minister and ex-Prime Minister should be getting, you. There's no system of respect in your party first. You have to think about it and then talk about other parties. Every Karyakarta here has worked hard to form a government. That is why for this victory taste, you'll have to work hard for next 5-10 years to think about it. At least you'll get a stay. Don't think of the country. It is not possible for you because you are not united.
Okay, Renu Mittal.
Thank you.
Okay, Renu Mittal. Moving forward, Renu Mittal, how do you see, the challenges that are posed in Rajasthan being dealt with by the new Bhajanlal government now? There is a problem of unemployment. There is a challenge of, women's security. All of these challenges lie ahead for the new government.
Yes, that's why I said that there is really nobody of experience who has come at the helm of affairs in Rajasthan. But I'm sure that the person concerned has a lot of experience in the organization. He would learn. There are lots of problems in Rajasthan. Ashok Gehlot was not only the chief minister, he was also the home minister. And the law and order problems were aplenty in the state. And rape, it had begun to be called the rape capital of the country. And there was really action only came after repeated attempts by people to rake up these issues. So, there is unemployment, there is this big paper leak thing that happened where lakhs of youngsters are affected in their families, because if a guy doesn't get his job, then the entire parivar gets affected. So, and then there is also the issue of huge corruption. Let's see how many of Mr. Gehlot's files Mr. Sharma opens up. and what happens to them. Because you see, what was happening so far was, for the last 2.5 decades, we had a Vasundhara Raje and we had a Gehlot. So both were best friends of each other. Both used to love to protect each other. And if one came to power, the misdeeds of the other would not be opened up. Neither would the corruption, or would the bureaucrats be changed. It was a very strange situation. So Mr. Gehlot was banking that somehow Vasundhara ji will come back to power and all will be well with his world. The same happens with Vasundhara Raje. I think it was decided some time back that both these people will now no longer be at the helm of affairs. And Rahul Gandhi didn't want Ashok Gehlot, and certainly Narendra Modi didn't want Vasundhara. So we had a situation where it was inevitable that there would be a new leadership in Rajasthan after over 2.5 decades, which is a long time. And I think it's a very, very welcome sign, because the longer you're there in power, the more vested interest you develop. And there are huge charges of corruption against both. Now, if somebody can open the files of both these leaders, wow, it'll be a real blockbuster, because there'll be so much to write about. But the fact is
we'll
that
have to see if that happens, Renu Mittal.
I hope it happens.
Yeah,
yes.
we'll have to see whether that happens or not. Yeah.
So that's interesting. Yeah?
We'll have to see whether that happens. But clearly what's happened is there's been a generational shift in Rajasthan's politics, and we'll have to see how this really moves forward. But I'll wrap it up here. Tanmay Sharma, Advocate APS Khadial, and Renu Mittal, thank you very much to all of you for joining us this evening and sharing your perspective on the new Rajasthan Chief Minister. With that, we're slipping into a short break. News and updates will continue on the other side. Stay tuned to Mirror now.